Here's my wine rant, and it has to do with why I made this guide to get into wine. And it's because no one else has. You see, I talk to people about all forms of drinking, beers, cocktails, spirits, and yes, wine. And there's the major sticking point. It's that when I talk to people, and I'm talking just regular people, they'll tell me they can't get into wine. The flavors are too strong, or more importantly, like they only like sweet wines and they can't get into any others. And I've always wondered why. And when I look at how wine is presented and sold and everything, I realized there was a clear point I was missing. It's progression. And let me explain this, right? It's like when you go and maybe you start off drinking wine and that Moscato and sweet wines, and then you go to the next most popular wine and someone puts a Cabernet Sauvignon in your face and you're like, you try this. There's no way you're probably going to like that because you're going from one extreme to the next. Cabernet Sauvignon is super bold. So where's the middle ground in between that? And I found that to be missing. I know it sounds a bit pretentious when I talk in my guide about building your palate to appreciate wine, but all I'm saying is that you have to acquire the taste, just like any other form of drink. You see, let me break this down. In beers, myself here I'm speaking about, I started off with shandies and maybe Smirnoff Ice before I went into lagers and then IPAs. You see the progression. I started off light and got into bold. Even for cocktails, I started off with a screwdriver, vodka and orange juice, and then I went into maybe from fruitier punches and then made my way into like an old-fashioned, a stronger cocktail. There's that progression of drinking. In wine, I don't see that being there because we don't talk about some of these middle ground wines. What are the semi-sweet wines that I speak about? Why we should be able to go from sweet wines and then to some of these Vouvray and Gewürztraminer wines that have that semi-sweet, some of that. And then we can go into maybe drier styles and then we can talk about texture, introducing bubbles and then talk into the body. And again, you'll see that there's that progression of wine. And that's what I'm saying is like when I look up every guide of how can you get into wine or like how do regular people do that, there seems to be that absence of information. And that's why I created this guide, the 7 stages of drinkability, to take you from stage 1 to stage 7. So just like we would do with the beers and cocktails, we can do it with wine. And I want to push that into the wine industry. The wine industry can definitely be a bit exclusionary. You know what I'm speaking about. It wants to almost retain some of that, gravitas of, okay, like this is only for some people. But that's nonsense. I want wine to be accessible, and that's why I created this wine guide. So everyone can enjoy wine, and you can learn how to get into it just like any other form of drink. That's my rant. Cheers.